Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to Sister Wives with Mary Jane Kay. Today, I'll be giving my commentary on Sister Wives, Season 17, Episode 16, the One-on-One Special Part 2. This episode was pretty unremarkable except for a few points. It was just repeating everything from last week mostly, and Suki letting Cody off the hook, allowing him to be a diva, backing off when he said he was getting angry or he didn't want to answer. Suki really coddled Cody. At one point, she was even asking him if it was okay with him to watch a clip and respond to it, when obviously that is his job and he is paid to be there and he should respond. It felt to me like Suki was intimidated by Cody and as though she was assuaging a toddler on the verge of a tantrum. There was a huge missed opportunity to really call Cody out for his hypocrisy and all of his contradictions, and for Suki to dig into the dynamic that was missed by TLC, in my opinion. I guess we'll see how part 3 goes. There seemed to be a ton of coddling of Cody and Robin, and I really appreciate that Janelle and Christine, and to some extent Mary, are being very candid. Suki asks Mary if she knew about the family get-together where Christine supposedly found out about Cody wanting to reconcile with Mary. And supposedly, according to Cody's lie, Christine got so upset about it that Cody decided not to reconcile with Mary. That is the lie that Cody and Robin spewed. Mary doesn't know what Suki is talking about, and she never knew about that moment with Cody or with Christine until Suki just told her in that moment while filming the one-on-one special. Obviously, it doesn't take a genius to know we know Cody is lying. Cody explains to Suki that he was willing to see the error of his ways and then work to determine whether he and Mary were good with each other anymore. So Cody expressed to these 3 women that maybe he and Mary could actually work it out. And according to the liar from Liarville, Cody, it just rattled Christine. So there was something there, and it was right after that time when Cody had just shown them the plans for the one house, and that upset Christine there. And then Cody started mentioning reconciling with Mary, and Cody says there is something in Mary and Christine's relationship where Christine went, "I can't do that." Obviously, I don't buy it. Cody and Robin not only assume the viewers have low IQs like they do, but they seem to think that they can tell whatever lies they want, and as if they're going to come off as credible, regardless of the other ex-wives who will also tell their truths. Becky, a very insightful viewer of mine, pointed out the timeline to further support that Cody is lying through his teeth about this bullshit narrative that of all people, Christine was the one who prevented him from reconciling with Mary, which is obviously just ludicrous. I want to read Becky's comment. I found it to be very insightful. She writes, Cody's reconciliation with Mary's story is a provable lie. Mary and Cody were married in April of 1990. She made him 30 Rice Krispie treats for each year of marriage. That means this happened in April of 2020. That's why they had to pick up food and eat outside. COVID lockdowns meant restaurants were closed. Cody said when he brought up reconciliation with Mary to Christine, she lost her shit and ran from a family gathering, yelling to one of the kids that she had a loveless marriage. But due to Robin's COVID rules, there were no family gatherings for Christine to run from. Now, this is a great comment. These are great points. Becky goes on and she says, this is just a lie Cody and Robin came up with to keep Mary from giving up hope, thus to continue to help them to pay off Coyote Pass. I really thought that was a great point to support that this idea that Christine would get angry at a family gathering over a possible reconciliation between Cody and Mary is complete horseshit. Next, Suki presents Robin with what Cody recounted, and Robin acts surprised that Cody would tell Suki that story regarding the potential reconciliation with Mary and Christine's response to it, which prevented him from following through with it. Suki mentions how Christine did not want Mary to reconcile with Cody, and Robin says that is what she was told as well. Now, Robin didn't know that this was connected to it, but she guesses Christine was falling apart. Apparently, Christine was at Robin's house falling apart. And Robin says she feels so bad. She doesn't want to talk bad about her. But Robin saw Christine flipping out, and she did not know what it was about at the time. If she didn't know what it was about, how did she know Christine's upset at her house was related to Mary and Cody reconciling? Notice she says she was told the story by Cody, yet she also says she is also recounting seeing Christine freaking out in her home. Did she see it or was she told about it? To me, it sounds like she is lying through her teeth or taking bits and pieces from different events and making it a story to back up Cody. I doubt Christine ever freaked out at Robin's house, but we do know for a fact that Robin was incredibly disrespectful in Christine's house for sure, calling her a liar twice and trying to discount and invalidate the experience Christine had of her marriage to Cody. I find it beyond the truth to imagine Christine overreacting or freaking out, as Robin put it, or flipping out in her house with Robin and her kids there. That doesn't sound like behavior Christine would ever do. That sounds more like behavior Robin would do based on the fact that she seems to have a lot of trouble controlling her emotions. This behavior that Robin accuses Christine of seems to be behavior she displays herself that she is projecting onto Christine. Losing her shit at another wife's home. That doesn't sound like Christine. That sounds more like Robin. Robin says things like, I don't want to talk bad about her. I feel bad, as if she is this innocent lamb. Yet we know Goblin has been talking shit about Christine to Cody. And we know this because Cody would then tell Janelle about all the interactions Christine and Robin had to try and paint Christine in a negative light, so Janelle would turn on her. I doubt Robin feels bad. We also know she talks a lot of shit in front of Ariella because of the shit Ari repeats that kids her age would not normally know or mimic unless they hear it in their home. So in my opinion, Robin doesn't feel bad. She obviously doesn't mind speaking ill of Christine or anyone else in the family. And with the way Robin behaves regarding her desperation for a friendship, it seems to me that Christine lives rent-free in Robin's head all day long. It seems to me like Robin really wants to paint the picture that Christine overreacts, or that Christine is unstable emotionally, or that Christine is angry, or that Christine is negative. But if we look at Christine and the way she conducts herself with grace and diplomacy throughout all of her struggles, we can really see Christine's character and the type of woman she is and the type of person she is. Look at the way this lady handled raising all of the kids. Look at how she handled being a single mom for years with an absent husband. Look at how strong and courageous she was during Isabel's surgery. She never left her daughter's side, and Christine did that alone. She did not have a husband to lean on to share her fears and anxieties with during that surgery. She handled it all alone, and she had to be strong for herself and for her daughter. And she is a superwoman. That day on the patio with Cody screaming like he's a toddler and with Robin calling Christine a liar and invalidating what Christine experienced in her marriage, we saw Christine and Christine's character. We saw Christine hold it together and maintain complete composure in the face of complete disrespect. She was patient. She was full of class. And most women would not have been able to just sit there calmly. So this picture Cody and Robin are trying to reinforce of Christine being angry or flipping out or of her being emotional or unhinged is completely false if we look at Christine's behavior throughout the seasons and all the actions. The ones who look angry and emotional and unhinged based on their behaviors from the show are Cody and Robin, in my opinion. Look at their behavior versus everyone else in the family. So it's interesting to me how they are so quick to lie and project to make everyone else look like they are the irrational ones when they are Humpty and Dumpty. Cody keeps mentioning Christine and Robin keeps mentioning Christine, trying to paint her in a bad light. Christine did this, Christine did that, Christine created the shitstorm. and on and on. Yet if we look at Christine's behavior and her class and her composure and her dignity, even in the face of unhinged anger and disrespect, she remained poised and calm. She conducted herself with grace. The only two who look like they are irrational and overly emotional are Cody and Robin. They have a hard time handling their emotions at their ages. So it's interesting that they seem to try their hardest to paint Christine, the heart of the family who sacrificed so much for the family, in such a bad light, especially after all she sacrificed. The ones flipping out, grasping at straws here are Cody and Robin. Notice, unless asked, Christine really doesn't go out of her way to mention them, yet they are always going out of their way, pointing the finger at her, trying to villainize her. Suki asks Robin if she thinks if Christine didn't get upset and object, that Cody and Mary would have reconciled and had more of a relationship. And Robin says, yeah, because when Cody says and thinks that kind of stuff, it usually happens. So Cody does what he wants, right? And when he thinks things and he says things, it happens, according to Robin. He gets what he wants. He does what he wants, according to Robin. So why on earth would any emotions Christine has, any supposed objections, any anger Christine had over Cody reconciling with Mary, have any effect whatsoever or any bearing on Cody getting back together with Mary if that's what he wants to do, and if that's what he says, and if that's what he has in his mind? Cody wouldn't give a fuck how Christine felt. Cody doesn't give a fuck how anyone feels. He does what he wants regardless. And we know that from his behavior. If this bullshit story were true, Christine's emotions would be viewed as an inconvenience by Cody, and Cody would pay them zero mind. Cody never validated any of Christine's emotions or any of her feelings before. And we know from Janelle, Christine, and Mary that Cody isn't always present. Even when he is physically around, he doesn't listen when these women speak. He isn't actually fully invested and engaged. So why only this one time would Christine's objections actually stop Cody from reconciling with Mary if he wanted to reconcile with her? There is no logic to this or to anything Cody and Robin say. Christine has nothing to do with it. It's Cody and Mary's marriage. He would not care what Christine said or thought. If he wanted to get back together with Mary, he would do what he wants to do. So if Cody really wanted to get back together with Mary, we all know he would have. And Robin's assessment that if Cody says stuff and thinks it, he does it. By that assessment, if Cody says stuff and thinks it, he does it. So if he said that he wanted to get back together and he thought that he wanted to reconcile, he just would have gotten back together with her, period, end of story, regardless of Christine and anything she said or did. When people had doubts about Cody courting Robin, that didn't stop him. When the wives were mad and hurt and sad when Cody took the almost 2-week honeymoon with Robin to paradise, their emotions and their objections didn't stop Cody then, yet he is saying Christine's emotions and her upset and her objections prevented him from reconciling with Mary. It's Cody and Mary's marriage. What does Christine have to do with it? When have a wife's objections or emotions ever stopped Cody before? He barely listens when they speak to him. He doesn't even meet their needs. Remember the RV experience where Janelle told Cody multiple times she was getting the RV and he wasn't really present, paying attention to her, even though he was there, he did not hear her. Then he acted like he was never told about it on the show. So it would be very out of character for Christine's emotions to even be heard, let alone that they would weigh on Cody, to the point where it would prevent him from getting back together with Mary if he really wanted to. Suki says that could have changed the whole trajectory of Mary's life. And Robin says, yeah. She asks Suki, it sucks, right? What sucks to me is that Cody and Robin, two fully grown adults, want to blame Cody being a shit husband to Mary on Christine. That's what blows here. That's what really sucks. That two grown adults are playing schoolyard games at a junior high level mentality, and that Suki never called them out on it. She just coddled them. Christine did not affect the trajectory of Mary's life in any way. And it sucks that Robin, the so-called empath who is good at making relationships work, thinks it's appropriate for herself and her husband to blame Cody's failure to reconcile with Mary on Christine, who had nothing to do with it. Whether Christine was emotional or not, it doesn't stop two married people in a separate marriage from getting back together if they both want to. Cody didn't want to, but instead of saying it, he wants to be a coward and concoct an amateurish, idiotic, incoherent bullshit story with his wife to blame Christine. It's very immature. I wonder if these two together would even score 100 on an IQ test. If they're going to plan a fabrication to villainize Christine, at least make it something that could be believable. Christine says it's frustrating and offensive. There is no way she would not support Cody and Mary having a great relationship if they both wanted that. She says it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and it is fucking ridiculous. Suki recounts to Christine what Robin said, that Robin says she walked into the tail end of that conversation she was having with Cody at her house, and Christine looks at Suki like she is completely shocked by the egregiousness of Robin's lies. Suki keeps pressing. She says Robin kind of knew about it, but not all that happened in that conversation. And Christine thinks there was something that was twisted in that. There is no way that she would have ever felt like that. She doesn't feel like that. And Christine is so frustrated that Cody just doesn't know her and that he would twist her words to somehow think that she would say anything like that, and that Cody would say that and spread that lie is what's frustrating. She says that's a lie. It's not her. She would never do that. I believe Christine, and I don't think she would do that at all. And even if she had, it's Mary and Cody's relationship. And if Cody really wanted to be with Mary, he would be with her regardless of anything else, regardless of anything Christine said or did. Suki tells Mary that she asked Christine to clarify, and Christine doesn't remember the story of opposing a reconciliation with Cody. And Suki says Christine feels that she would never stop a reconciliation between Mary and Cody. Mary says it's nice to know that Christine feels that. Mary clarifies she doesn't know what happened with Christine and Cody's conversation. She doesn't know Cody's perspective on it. She has never heard this out of Cody's mouth or out of Christine's mouth. It's curious to Mary that Christine doesn't remember anything about it at all. So Mary has no idea. Suki tells Mary that Robin remembers it, and Mary says it's interesting. Suki tells Mary that she thinks it was a moment where Cody wanted to reconcile. I, for the life of me, can't understand why Suki is pushing hard to push Cody and Robin's narrative, and she fails to call them out at every turn. It's fucking ridiculous. Also, Mary already told Suki in part 1 that when the cameras were turned off during that anniversary, she tried to kiss Cody, and Cody got stiff as a board. He pushed her away, and he told her he can't do this. So he obviously didn't want to get back together with her. Mary's obviously letting Suki know that by the end of the anniversary date, if that was ever true at any point of the day, that changed for Cody by the end of the day. So she seems really like to not buy this story either, yet Suki keeps pushing it. If they think that this is the drama that viewers want to see, we don't want to see lies and bullshit. We want her to ask questions about what's actually going on throughout the season and call Cody out on his hypocrisy and his contradictions. Call Robin out. Have everyone talk about how they feel about the situation. I don't understand why Robin and Cody are let off the hook. Mary finds it heartbreaking because Cody could have given he and Mary a chance, and now 2 years later, he told her absolutely not to getting back together because Mary has spent many years full of hope, really looking inward and figuring herself out and becoming a better person. and hoping that that was good enough for Cody to change his tune, but it's not. Cody actually said those words to her, that it's not good enough, and Mary says it's hurtful. Mary says it is what it is. Suki asks if Mary gets to sit with all this and decide, like Christine has decided, to walk away. And Mary thinks Cody has already decided. Mary says they have a lot of history together and she loves him, and he has chosen not to love her and not to want a relationship with her. And he has gone so far as to consider himself not married to her. And that is what they are sitting with. I think Mary knows this story of Cody's is complete bullshit, and she doesn't call him an outright liar, but she makes clear she never heard about this. During the date, Cody was closed off and he backed away from her when she tried to kiss him. And Cody told her her self-improvement was not good enough for him. He isn't married to her any longer. He doesn't consider himself married to her. And she worked on herself to try and improve herself and to improve the dynamics with him. And he still was not down. So Mary, at her best, is not enough for him after everything. And that's probably a huge rejection for Mary. And Mary's history with him means something to Mary, but it means zero to Cody. Throughout all of this, one thing that is blatantly clear is Cody really doesn't place any true value in his wives and on his wives, even as the mothers of his kids. He doesn't value the memories or the shared experience or that they share kids together, that they raise together. It all seems to mean nothing now. That now that he has taken all he can from them, he has discarded his wives without a thought, and he dismisses the sacrifice and all the effort they made and everything they put into having this family. He claims he wants loyalty, but there is zero loyalty at all from Cody after all they experienced together. It feels like an eerie, cold detachment coming from Cody, and it's very weird. Suki talks to Janelle next, and she mentions the polarizing emotional moments for the family, the heartbreaking times, but there are also times when the family gets together and there is such happiness and such joy. Janelle doesn't regret anything. Suki wants Janelle to relive the good memories when the whole family was together enjoying the moment, and they flash back to different happy memories like Robin's wedding, Halloween, Janelle saying she sees the family now, going forward and doing things centered around the family, with all 5 of them together with various happy family moments. They play a flashback from season 1 with Christine saying, when Cody looks at you with those eyes, you are the most important person in the world, and you are loved far more than any woman in the world has ever been loved before. There are family trips and Hunter coming home after being away for a long time. It's all the heartwarming times that we have seen over the seasons. Janelle says it was heaven, and Suki says they were all raising the kids together. Janelle says that there were good moments and a lot of hard moments too, and there was a lot of self-growth and a lot of growth and rubbing up against each other's personalities. But when they were together like that, everything was okay. It was all good. It was worth it. Janelle is sentimental, and she rarely cries or tears up, and she is teary looking back. Janelle says it was amazing. They were all united in the purpose of raising the kids. Suki asks if Janelle misses the purpose that has changed. And Janelle thinks that's the natural evolution. Kids grow older. They let a lot of differences of opinions really divide them in a very deep way that Janelle never foresaw ever having happen. Now, of all the wives, Janelle is the wife who I feel polygamy and that lifestyle and plural marriage really suited the most. And so I don't think Janelle ever really expected that she would leave Cody. But with the way Cody behaved, she ended up having really no choice. And I don't think she ever foresaw herself coming to this point where the family would be so divided that they would be in this situation. I think it's a shock for Janelle. I don't think she ever expected anything like this. Mary tells Suki they had a really good life, and Suki points out the past tense, had, and Mary using had. And Mary says, obviously, things are different now. You look at all of those memories and you think that was real. And Mary thinks with their family and raising the kids together and having all of those amazing moments, that was so good. But she says we also have to realize as the kids grow and start their own lives, the adults are figuring out who they are within this family as well. Mary makes a great point that raising the kids was the priority for all of the adults. So as the kids leave home and make their own lives, there is no longer that common priority or purpose in the family that holds them together. Suki points out that they were so young when they got married. Mary was 19 and Cody was 22 when they got married. Cody says they were in plural marriage at this young age and they were establishing a family that he doesn't know how to establish. And Cody says there are influences from people in their church and other people they associate with, and they aren't living their lives. They are living something else. I think what Cody is trying to say is he felt heavily influenced by what other people were doing and what other people were advising him to do in his church. And he was influenced by the church and he wasn't living for himself. He was living for his church and his faith according to what everyone else did in his church because he wants to blame his culty religion, the indoctrination in the religion, and deciding to live plural marriage and the influence of that on their lives. And he wants to blame their decision to build the plural family on the faith. I think he wants to blame the faith and all that in making the choice to live plural marriage. And he wants to do that to take the accountability off of himself for making the choice to live plural marriage. And he wants to almost suggest he was manipulated. He was influenced by his church community and by his faith. Everyone lived this way, so he did too. But let's remember, Cody did not grow up in this church. He was raised mainstream LDS, so he may have been influenced to a degree, but he wasn't in the faith for his whole life or for that long when he married Mary and when he decided to have a plural family. To be able to use the excuse that he was indoctrinated into this for himself. Cody says he married Mary and it was a hard relationship from the very beginning. He says Janelle was a blessing of dilution. It diluted this relationship he had with Mary, and he brought more people into a problem. Cody says he and Janelle got married and they were in Mary's house. And Mary is a woman who already has domain over their place. And so Cody is bringing a wife into somebody else's home. And he says he might as well have been bringing Janelle into Mary's bed. And he says it's weird as hell. Cody says the relationship with Mary was bad even before Janelle. But that's not what he says in Becoming Sister Wives. Cody writes of his marriage to Mary before marrying Janelle. We'd been married for 3 years and had 3 wonderful years of monogamy. Does that sound like hell? Does that sound like a problem? Janelle also recounts in Becoming Sister Wives about the period when she married Cody and she started living with them in their family. Mary and Cody were still very much in love, Janelle writes, and they had no idea how to incorporate me into their lives. I had no idea where I fit into the marriage. When we watched movies, they would sit on the couch and hold hands under a blanket, and I'd sit in my own chair. So it doesn't sound to me like things were bad with Mary and Cody before he married Janelle. It seems to me like Cody wants to remember it that way, so it's all easier on his ego with how the cookie crumbled. It's easier to rewrite history than for Cody to acknowledge the truth. Suki asks if Mary was caustic, and Cody says, absolutely. Suki asks, did Mary just not accept Janelle? Cody says, it might have been jealousy. Cody says when he and Janelle got married, he thought, wow, this is something special. And he says any little thing, the wrong loaf of bread, the wrong nylons, or things like in our family we use this specific dish detergent. Cody says he was in an established relationship with somebody that he doesn't even get along with, and then he brings somebody else in, and now it's like triangulating. Then they brought Christine in, and that seemed to calm it because they started having kids and they had a more unified focus, even though the strain was perpetual. Cody says this was happening from the day after he and Mary had their honeymoon period. They were in the storm. Again, let's check out what Cody wrote. We'd been married for 3 years and had 3 wonderful years of monogamy. So, was it 3 years of monogamous bliss like Cody recounts? Or was it, as Cody says now, that this was happening from the day after he and Mary had their honeymoon period? They were in the storm. Suki tells Janelle it seems like when she first got married, she and Mary and Cody, there was a lot there between them. And Janelle says they really struggled. They butted heads over everything. Janelle says she remembers it was about which laundry detergent to use, or should you put oranges in the fridge or not. It was about everything. Suki asks if when these issues were popping up, if Janelle wanted to address it right then and there and not let an open wound fester. And Janelle explains she is someone who stuffs and stuffs and stuffs and stuffs, and then she blows. And Mary is really direct, and Janelle had never met someone direct like that before, and it was offensive to her. Christine says Mary was more aggressive with her conversations. She says she would have an ulcer and stomach pain. Mary is just very confrontational, and Mary doesn't mind a confrontation. She doesn't see it as a confrontation. Christine says the kitchen was an issue when they all shared a kitchen. What time they cooked was an issue. What they cooked was an issue. She says if they didn't clean up well enough, oh my God. Everything had to be perfect, and it was very, very stressful. And it was Mary who wanted everything that way. She wanted everything perfect. Christine says that was the biggest thing. She never knew if Mary was mad or not. It tipped her over the edge. And that was when Christine said, Mary, I'm done with you. Cody says in the past, the family was in a bad place because Janelle moved out. She was done, and Cody confirms Janelle left and she lived with her mother. Suki asks if Janelle left Cody or the family because they haven't heard it before. Now, this is in their book. Cody didn't feel like Janelle was leaving him, but she was leaving her sister wives because Cody wasn't giving her enough support. Cody was working things out. He and Janelle were constantly working things out, but Janelle couldn't abide with being with Mary and Christine any longer. It was too much strain on her life, and that's why Janelle left. It is true that Janelle left, but in the book, she only stayed with her mom temporarily, and she ended up going back to school and getting her degree and getting a very good job. She bought herself a home. She bought herself a new car. She was living very well. Now, Janelle said in the book that her moving out was about the conflicts with her sister wives, but it was also about Cody as well. But Cody fails to mention that it was about him. When Janelle left, she drove very far every day just to drop the kids off with Christine and Mary so they still had a sense of family. If Janelle left solely because of her issues with her sister wives, why would she drive way out of her way, very far out of her way, to go there and drop her kids off during the day so that her kids could be with the family, with those sister wives? Those sister wives and the friction there, that wasn't the only reason or the main reason why Janelle moved out. The friction with her sister wives may have contributed to Janelle's decision to move out, but it also had to do with Cody, and I think it's important to highlight that. Janelle writes in Becoming Sister Wives, during the 8th year of our marriage, I gave birth to my 5th child, Gabriel. Afterward, I sank into a horrible postpartum depression. I felt overwhelmed by having had so many children in quick succession, and I felt seriously depressed at our lack of financial means. I knew I was miserable, but had no idea how to fix the situation. I also had a particularly nasty fight with Mary, one of the worst we'd ever had. I was at my breaking point. I couldn't see my way out of my depression. I told Cody that I was leaving. That night, I got in the car and drove to my mother's house. The next morning, Cody picked me up to run errands with him. While we were driving, he nonchalantly asked me, "So, are you better now?" His failure to understand how low I was felt like a slap in the face. Part of me wanted to scream, and part of me wanted to laugh at his ignorance and his hopefulness that everything had become better overnight. That afternoon, I bundled all the kids into the car and took them to my mom's. I had reached rock bottom. Cody remembers the friction between Janelle and her sister wives being the main catalyst for her moving out. And Janelle does admit there was a fight with Mary in the book. There was friction. There was not room to breathe living with her sister wives. But Janelle did not consider moving out until this incident with Cody, where he was incredibly insensitive and invalidating with Janelle and what she endured emotionally. It's clear from this quote that although Janelle does acknowledge the friction with her sister wives being an issue and a fight with Mary, this is the incident that got her to say enough, the incident with Cody, and it had to do with Cody, not her sister wives. So it's very interesting that Cody reimagines history, pinning Janelle leaving the first time on the sister wives having issues, when it actually is Cody who catalyzed Janelle's move. He just doesn't want to own it as usual. Cody says Janelle would talk to him about a comment Janelle's mom would make with her about the Mary and Christine club. And Janelle wasn't in it. Cody says there is this place where Janelle didn't feel like she was fitting in. And Suki asks if then Janelle was able to set her feelings aside to put the family first. Cody says they were rifted pretty strong and they had 3 separate houses. They got in a groove, and Cody told Janelle that he was moving to Utah to expand his career. Janelle told Cody she wasn't going with him, and she got her life together in Wyoming, and it was a shock to Cody. And Cody says it wasn't healthy. But then Janelle turned around. They had this offer for the one house in Lehigh, and Janelle wanted Cody to get that home so they could get back together. Janelle was looking for a reconciliation. It seems to me that Cody wants to show that the problems Janelle has in her marriage, or that she had in her marriage, aren't about him. It's about her sister wives. But again, in the book, Janelle makes it clear when she left, it was about Cody and his inability to understand her feelings and be there for her. Janelle says Mary and Christine each had their own house, and she had her own house. Suki asks why Cody perceives it as Janelle needing space when she left, and Cody feeling what was happening, the relationship happening between Mary and Christine, was just too much for her. Janelle thinks Cody remembers it in a way that works for him to remember it, because that is not how Janelle remembers it. Janelle says Cody is looking to blame like that. There was always conflict between the sister wives. Janelle says, yes, there was conflict, but there were good times too, and she wanted to stay in Wyoming. She had just started to develop a good life there, and she did not want to leave it. Suki asks Cody if the struggle going on between Mary and Janelle was the reason Christine was brought into the family to buffer the situation. And Cody says no. Christine basically asked to be in the family. She point blank said, I want to be in your family. Suki asks if Cody's faith propelled him to do this, to marry Christine. And Cody says he felt a lot of pressure. Christine was royalty in their church, and Cody admits it's not fair. Cody looks back and he says it wasn't fair for him to go, oh, this will make me look cool in our church if I marry her. Suki asks if it was his ego, and Cody remarks that he was a polygamist, so it's all ego, baby. And he's being very cynical here. I think Cody is trying to suggest that people assume he has a huge ego just because he lives or he lived as a polygamous man and he has more than one wife. Living plural marriage isn't always an ego thing for the men who are involved in it. And people think Cody has an ego, not specifically because he is a polygamist or he had multiple wives or he was a polygamist, but because he actually has a huge ego and he's very arrogant. There are polygamist men who have plural families who do not operate off of ego. For example, Brady Williams, Colton Winder. Those men are both polygamists and they do not have an ego. And no one assumes they have an ego. They're the most unassuming people ever. People say Cody has an ego because he actually has an ego. It has nothing to do with him being an ex-polygamist. He has an overinflated ego. He has an overinflated sense of self. And it has nothing to do with polygamy or him being a polygamist. Although I think a huge part of Cody choosing this lifestyle are his arrogance and his narcissistic traits. I'm going to give Cody just a smidgen of credit here. At least he admitted that he married Christine for her status in the church and that it was unfair. Imagine how this feels for Christine. We know from the book that she was head over heels in love with Cody. She wanted to be with Cody back when he was just with Mary. She was very into Cody, and Mary said no. She didn't want Christine in the family, even though Mary and Christine were friends. And then Cody was supposed to marry a minor who he had to wait for her to turn 18 to become engaged to her so that he could marry her. And that young lady was a friend of Christine's who she brought into the faith, who eventually backed out of the wedding a week before the wedding. And then Cody called her and Christine thought, wow, finally I get to be with Cody. Maybe he's interested in me. And he was calling her to tell her that Janelle was driving him mad and he wanted to marry Janelle. He married Janelle and then he married Christine because of her status in the church, knowing she was head over heels in love with him from day one, knowing he let her down so many times. When she was Mary's friend, he made the excuse that he didn't want to date Christine or court Christine because then Mary would lose her only two best friends in the world if they were seeing each other. Then her minor friend who he had to wait for her to turn 18, and she is the one who called off the wedding a week before. Then Christine got her hopes up. And then he married Janelle, and then he married Christine, knowing how in love she was with him, knowing she was head over heels in love with him. He wasn't that into her. He wasn't attracted to her. He didn't love her. And by the way, Christine is gorgeous. I can't understand how he would say he wasn't attracted to her. But anyways, he wasn't attracted to her. He wasn't in love with her. And he's admitting he knows it's unfair, but he married her because of her status in the church, to be in with the church people, to have a high status, to look cool in the church. And he knew that. And he was conscious of the fact that he didn't love her, that he wasn't attracted to her, that she was head over heels in love with him. And he married her knowing he didn't really want her. He wasn't that into her just for her status. And I think that's shady as fuck. And that's low. And that's more than unfair. And that says a lot about Cody's character. He's a used car salesman. He's very opportunistic. And it's very unfair of him to have 6 kids with her, knowing he's not attracted to her. He doesn't love her. He treated her like shit throughout the marriage. He didn't validate her emotions. He didn't seem invested in her, knowing that she was head over heels in love with him and it was romantic for her and it wasn't for him. I think that's super fucked up and it's super manipulative of him to do. And it just goes to show you that Cody has a very low consciousness and a very low level character. Imagine how his kids, hearing that, how his kids will feel. That he married her for her status in the church, to look cool in the church. And all he's saying is, oh, I know it's unfair. I know it's unfair. No wonder his kids don't want to have a relationship with him. And it has nothing to do with Christine influencing them or COVID or anything like that. It's because of Cody's character. It's because of his behavior and the way he behaves, and also the way he treats all of their moms and all of the rest of the family other than Robin and the Royals. Next, Christine mentions how the past year was hard. It was emotionally draining. Suki says the meltdown that happened when the family gathered together and Christine announced she had a buyer for the house and she was moving in a week, that was hard. And Suki wants to know how Christine expected all of the adults in the family to take the announcement. Christine says she expected them to take it hard because she was changing everything. Suki plays the flashback for Christine with the whole knife in the kidneys drama. Cody says it wasn't about the family, it was about the man. And it's his frustration and it's his accusation. He is angry that Christine wasn't willing to invest in the family, but she was only interested in what he could do for her. He as a resource for her. Cody says he isn't brokenhearted about Christine leaving in this clip. He is brokenhearted about his family having this schism, this breakup. Robin asks Christine if she is interested in some sort of trying to work stuff out, maybe from the past how many years. And Christine tells her in the flashback, for right now, she needs space for right now. And Christine says, as far as the relationships with the other adults, she and Janelle are super close, and she isn't that close with the rest of them. And for right now, she needs it that way. Mary says she has seen Christine's non-acceptance of Robin, and she has seen Christine's disdain for her throughout the years. Mary says as much as it hurts her, she is glad to know where Christine actually stands in this clip. And of course, Robin is crying, and we all remember where she tells Christine she doesn't know what she is to Christine. And Cody gets really angry, and he says Christine has treated her like dirt from the very beginning, and he's raising his voice and getting aggressive. And Cody says that's the relationship Robin has with Christine. That's the reason he is angry. That's the reason he is pissed off, because Christine never tried to have really good relationships with these other people, and that's the reason he is pissed off. And Christine tells Cody as she's yelling in her face, it's not true. And Cody says, yes, she did. And Cody says it's just vomiting out of him because he sat here asking her, try and do this. And she wanted to renegotiate a relationship with him, but she wouldn't even have a decent relationship with them, with her sister wives. Cody says it's always about the kids, but that was the easy part. And Cody says next, it's a knife in the kidneys. Over all of those years, the sacrifices he made to love her wasted, as he shouts like a buffoon, and his wives look absolutely stunned. Cody says the accountability is what he is asking for. He is shouting at the top of his lungs, saying the accountability is what he is asking for here, and Christine was running away rather than being accountable. Wow. Who doesn't take accountability in this family? It's certainly not Christine. Christine takes accountability. Cody is the one projecting. Cody never even takes a grain of sand's worth of accountability. Christine says she never tried to treat anybody like crap, and she never did. And Cody says she did. And Christine says she doesn't want to, she didn't mean to. And Cody says now they are sitting here with a broken family over it. It's ironic that Cody bitches and moans about accountability and the sacrifices he made to love her when Cody refuses to take any accountability at all. Everything is Christine's fault. It's Christine's fault that the family is broken. It's Christine's fault that he had to sacrifice to love her, as if she's hard to love. He's the one that doesn't know how to love, that can't love unconditionally. He never acknowledges all the sacrifice Christine actually made to set aside her wants and needs in her marriage and in her family to prioritize the family and all of Cody's kids. And it's interesting how Cody wants accountability, yet he blames the broken family on Christine leaving him and Christine not being besties with Robin, when really it's all about Cody's choices and actions as a husband and a father, and it has zero to do with Christine that his family is broken. The one screaming about accountability the loudest is the one doing all the deflection. In the flashback, Cody says, "This ain't my fault. You did this." He doesn't care if it's not fair. It's how he feels. She did this. And Christine says she didn't try to do anything. And Janelle tells Christine, as she's comforting her, she thinks it's emotion. And Mary says that response from Cody was not just emotion. That response from Cody was real. And he said some things that he has been holding in for a long time. And Mary is glad that he said it. Robin tells Christine that she's sorry to see her go as she walks off in tears, and Mary follows her out without one word to Christine. Christine says this is one of the saddest conversations she has ever been in the flashback. Suki asks how Christine was able to remain so calm during that scene. Christine says it was so hard, and it's hard to watch, and it was very hard to be there. Christine says Cody hasn't yelled like that before, and she didn't know what to do when Cody said all of those things. She was so shocked, and she didn't know how Cody felt for all that time. She says she wasn't mean. She honestly was not mean to anybody. She didn't know that she had been shunning Robin, like Mary said that she was doing. She didn't know that she was doing any of those things or that it was perceived that way. Christine explains she didn't try to do that. She says maybe she didn't let Robin in as much as Robin wanted, so that was really difficult. Christine says it seems like that was the trigger, not letting Robin in as much as she wanted. See how Robin perpetuates this us versus them mentality that isn't there, and this idea that Christine rejects her, when Christine clearly included Robin and her kids. But Robin feels entitled to more than what Christine graciously gave her and her kids. Robin feels entitled to being Christine's best friend and like a sister to her. Christine didn't do anything to her knowledge to reject Robin. She just didn't get as close to Robin as Robin wanted her to. And Robin felt entitled to having a close relationship with Christine that Christine just wasn't feeling. She did not reject Robin, but she just didn't get as close to Robin the way Robin expected. And so my guess is entitled Robin, who can't handle being disliked, went to Cody and she complained and complained to push Cody, to push Christine to kiss her ass, and it was unsuccessful. And then Robin tried with Janelle. Remember, she felt entitled to a close friendship with her too, and she told Janelle she wanted to get closer to her, and Janelle told her she had to think about it, and Robin would tell Cody all the things she perceived as mean that Christine allegedly did, probably things that were simple like not wanting to do lunch or not calling her back, or not wanting more than a civil relationship at a distance. And Robin perceived that as rejection because as favorite wife and legal wife, I think she felt entitled to more with these women and she seemed to expect it as if she's entitled to it. Robin probably doesn't understand social cues very well, so she didn't get the hint and she wanted to force it through manipulation with Christine. And Christine wasn't down. And then Cody took Robin's tales of rejection to Janelle to try and turn Janelle against Christine so that Janelle would turn to Robin and become closer to her. And it backfired because then Janelle became even more weary of Robin and her manipulative behavior and her influence on Cody. And it's kind of psycho and single white female type stuff to try and force women to be close to you and feel entitled to it. And it's kind of crazy to be so desperate for that closeness that you triangulate your husband in to try and leverage and manipulate these women to get you the relationships you want just to uphold your ego and entitled expectations. I find that to be very odd. With Janelle, Cody tried to turn her against Christine. And with Christine, he removed sex and intimacy from the table until she could be nicer to Robin and a better sister wife. Why would this woman want relationships she doesn't achieve naturally and organically? It's selfish and egotistical to want to force it. And it's very psycho and it's weird to be that desperate for a relationship that you would want a relationship with these people that is achieved through manipulation, that is not organic, that is not intuitive, and that you're doing so through your husband manipulating his other wives. It's so bizarre that these people, Cody and Robin, would resort to immature junior high level games of trying to control and manipulate Janelle and Christine to turn this one against the other or leverage this for that so there might be room for a friendship with you. It's very disturbing to say the least, and it's ultra creepy, and it's what bullies and mean girls and manipulators would do. The very way Robin accuses the family of being towards her and her kids is the way she behaves with everyone. Cody says that Christine shit-talked Janelle and Mary to him for 2 years, and that's why he was getting frustrated. Does Cody get that frustrated when Robin talks shit about Christine to him or Janelle? Or does Cody only get frustrated when Christine shit talks about her sister wives? He doesn't seem to get frustrated at Robin when she talks shit about Christine or Janelle. Instead, he forwards the gossip to Janelle when she shit talks on Christine like an idiot, with no notion that Janelle is loyal to Christine and Janelle will let Christine know what Cody is saying. Why is Robin allowed to shit talk about her sister wives with Cody and that's not a problem? But when Christine does it, it's labeled frustration and it's an inconvenience. Could it be because maybe Christine is telling Cody some truths that he doesn't want to hear? And when Robin does it, she is sharing his sentiments and keeping him angry and riled up and resentful, just like he naturally is. Also interesting that we learned from Christine that Cody Shiv talks about his other wives with whatever wife he is with. Yet it's a huge frustration that his wives confide in him. And he wants to bring it up now to vilify them and talk about how mean they are and how terrible they are. I wonder how much of the strife among Janelle, Christine, and Mary in the early years was caused or contributed to by Cody shit-talking with them about the other to magnify the negative feelings between them. Maybe Cody liked the discord because then each wife would only have him to go to, since Cody likes control so much and he likes to feel important. Cody says Christine kept telling him he was sleeping with the enemy. He talked about reconciliation with Mary, and Christine just loses it. And Cody gets that Janelle has certain nuances that are quirks because he loves her. He is still in this relationship with Janelle at that point. And Christine is telling him that Janelle mistreated her. So basically, it's okay for Cody to bitch about his other wives with a wife to vent and for support. But when his wives vent about each other to him, he wants to use it to manipulate situations and vilify them years later. It's natural for the wives to want to trust and confide in their husband confidentially. And ideally, Cody, in this situation of a plural marriage, shouldn't vent to his wives about another wife. But it happens, and he did. The issue is Cody then tries to use what his wives say in confidence to him as their husband against them as ammunition later on. And then he claims no one is loyal, no one respects him. But he isn't loyal to his wives and he doesn't respect them, or he wouldn't be doing this. Suki asks, so Christine feels threatened by Janelle as well? And Cody says, not now, but he spent 2 years listening to it. Why doesn't Suki ask Cody if he felt threatened by Janelle and Christine's relationship? It's very interesting how she allows Cody to talk in circles and spin his narrative and lie and bullshit, but she never pins him down and holds him accountable. She never brings up his hypocrisy or his contradictions. We don't ever see her calling him out. Cody says, you get to a point where you start realizing who you can trust and what you can say and what you can't say. Suki asks Cody who he trusts, and Cody responds that he thinks that's obvious. And Suki asks Cody to then say it. And Cody warns that will start pissing him off. And he does this angry sigh/growl to indicate that he is getting pissed. And he says they can discuss it another time. Notice how manipulative Cody is with women in general. It's not just with his wives or ex-wives now. He lets Suki know that he is losing patience. He's getting angry with his tone and his growl. And Suki backs off. Cody knows he only trusts Robin. We all know the answer. He knows the answer. He has made that clear time and time again. He even went so far as to suggest the only wife he really had left, other than Robin, Janelle at a time, that she had to be loyal like Robin. So he now is saying he doesn't want to answer the obvious that we all already know, because in my opinion, he is too much of a coward to tell the truth and take accountability. And he doesn't want to say he only trusts Robin to avoid the backlash and accusations. So instead, he warns Suki he's getting mad. They can discuss it later. And he does the same type of manipulative tactics with his ex-wife, Janelle. Let's remember, every time she mentioned her needs and the land, he told her it was making him mad and not to mention it. So she would wait and have to mention it after a time. And he warns every time she mentions anything that she needs, hey, I'm going to get mad. And he expects that his wife or whatever woman that he's talking to will shut up. And he does it here with Suki, and she just drops it as if she's intimidated by him. She's not getting anything of value that is honest out of Cody. Anyways, she is just getting bullshit mostly. She is getting his delusional perception of things regardless. So in my opinion, why not just push harder? And if Cody walks away and he gets angry, he will only look like the coward and it will just show his character. I get the concept of you catch more flies with honey, but Suki isn't really getting anything but bullshit out of Cody anyways. So what's the point of coddling him? She keeps throwing Robin framed softball questions, and the same with Cody, as if she's spinning their narrative. And it's interesting that Cody says you get to a point where you realize who you can trust and what you can say and what you can't say. When the woman he whispers everything to, Robin, is actually manipulating the fuck out of him, she is the neck that turns the head. It seems as though Cody misperceives that he is the leader in that house when Robin influences Cody big time. And she advises him on making the relationships work. She probably advises him on how to take a shit. And all her advice has led him to monogamy with her. And that's what Cody wanted. But does Robin really want Cody on her hands 24/7 for the rest of her life? It'll be interesting to see how long Cody and Robin last once all the kids are grown and independent. Suki asks Janelle how it feels seeing Christine being yelled at by Cody during the knife and the kidneys bullshit. And Janelle says there are nuances, like Cody said, he made so many sacrifices to love Christine. And Janelle says that should be a warning. If you have to sacrifice to love somebody, that's not healthy. And Janelle says this whole thing with the framing from Cody of you were a bad sister wife, Janelle asks, according to what perspective? And she brings up a great point. She asks if Cody is really her husband too, if he only sees that Christine was a bad sister wife to one wife in the family, because obviously we know Christine is a wonderful sister wife to Janelle. Janelle says if Cody is really married to both women, he would see both sides, and nobody is ever innocent. Suki tells Janelle that Cody always says Robin came into this house cap in hand. And Janelle laughs. She says she knows that was Cody's whole perspective, that Robin was this angel who came in. And Janelle says Robin is human. She isn't this perfect, saintly person. Suki asks if Janelle has seen Christine and Robin both butt heads. And Janelle says no, she perceives that there is a definite myopic view from Cody when it comes to Robin and her hurts and her perspective and her experience in this versus everybody else's. And Janelle points out Cody has never asked Janelle what her experiences are. They have never had that conversation. Janelle says in the beginning, she used to vent to Cody and he told her he can't take her side in this. But now he is obviously taking a side. He's taking Robin's side now, siding with Robin. So Cody is concerned with validating Robin and her feelings and her experiences. Robin is allowed to vent to Cody about how she feels rejected or bullied or this or that. And Cody then tries to manipulate his other wives to attempt to get Robin the inclusion and the level of closeness that she feels entitled to. But when Janelle used to vent to Cody, he refused to interfere or hear her or validate her or take her side. He didn't interfere, yet he is totally cool to manipulate his other wives to try and get them to kiss Robin's ass. He only sees Robin's point of view. He interferes when it comes to Robin. He risks his relationships with his other wives to get Robin what she wants from them. But he won't inconvenience himself for Janelle when she vents just by even listening. Suki tells Mary it's obvious Cody points to Robin and he says he has seen the non-acceptance of Robin time and time again, and Mary has said she has seen that too. Mary says she has seen that with Christine, and she has seen Christine be challenged with Robin coming into the family and Cody caring about Robin so much, which he should, she is a wife. But Mary gets that Christine, through those years, was craving some attention and some love that she was not getting from Cody. Cody said it. He said it was a sacrifice to love Christine. And Mary says, no wife wants to hear that. No wife wants to feel that. Regarding Cody saying he had to sacrifice to love Christine, Robin tells Suki she has asked Cody what he was talking about here. And Robin says, Cody said he was talking about everyone, about Janelle and the horrible things Christine said about Janelle. And he's talking about Mary and all of the horrible things Christine has said about Mary. And he is talking about all the things Christine has done. Clearly, when Cody made the sacrifice comment that it was years of sacrifice to love Christine, wasted years to love her, He points to Christine in that scene, and he looks at Christine when he's having the knife in the kidneys tantrum. Robin now wants to reframe it and make it general and vilify Christine and say Cody meant the sacrifice he made to love all his wives, referring to everyone. He was talking about the horrible stuff Christine said about Janelle and all the horrible shit Christine said about Mary and the horrible stuff Christine has done to everyone. And Cody had to sacrifice to love her amid all of that. So Robin is trying to paint Christine as this horrible person, as a villain, as mean to everyone 24/7, mean to Mary, horrible to Janelle, talking shit left and right, being terrible to everyone. So Cody had to make this sacrifice to be able to love her because of how mean she is. That's how Robin is trying to frame that and spin that. And that's bullshit. Robin knows Cody was bitching about the sacrifice to love Christine as if Christine was unlovable or so hard to love, to deflect from Cody being horrible and being a shit husband who was absent with Christine, saying these horrible things that it was a sacrifice to love her. So rather than tell the truth, she wants to blame Christine and rewrite history and say Christine was a mean, horrible person to everyone. So Cody struggled to love her, to sacrifice to love her. It's Christine's fault, not Cody's. When Cody admitted this episode that it was unfair, but he married Christine just because she was polygamy royalty, just to gain clout at church, to look cool at church. And now Robin wants to twist it rather than acknowledge that Cody saying he had to sacrifice to love Christine was cruel and it was devastating for Christine and probably also for Christine's kids as well. This is all very cruel. Christine was head over heels in love with this man. She married Cody. Cody acknowledges he wasn't attracted to her. He didn't love her. He just married her for her church status. And she sacrificed all of her wants and needs, her happiness, her personal fulfillment, getting what she deserves in a marriage from a partner, from a husband, from a father to her kids. She sacrificed all of that for the family, to prioritize nurturing the family, to be the heart of this family. And the way Cody thanks her is by bitching about the sacrifice it was to love her. And now Robin can sit and look viewers in the eye and say that Cody didn't mean a sacrifice towards Christine. Cody was talking about everyone. Cody was talking about how mean Christine was to everyone. That is such bullshit, and Cody and Robin should feel ashamed of themselves. Can you imagine how Christine's kids will feel if they have to see that? Suki asks Robin if Christine has treated her badly. And Robin says in the beginning it was very difficult, but Robin kept thinking that she and Christine were working through stuff, but other than the walls she is dealing with Christine, and Suki never lets Robin finish. Suki interrupts Robin rather than just letting her finish and getting her answer out. She asks how Christine treated her differently in the beginning or why it was difficult. Robin, who doesn't like to talk bad about people, says it was snarky comments, not including her in things, kind of letting her know how things were going to go, kind of pulling rank, and it was absolutely hard in the beginning. The projection here is interesting. Robin is accusing Christine of most of the stuff she herself does to Christine and the rest of the family as well. As far as snarky comments, Robin has said negative things about Gabe and Garrison repeatedly. She accused both Janelle and Christine of influencing their kids against her. She is incredibly disrespectful. She called Isabel stupid for going back to school in person when her daughter Brianna went back to school and brought COVID back to the whole family, and nobody called her stupid. By the way, can we imagine if it was Janelle or Christine who called Brianna stupid, what the reaction would be from Cody and Robin? Christine never even addressed Robin calling Isabel stupid. She ignored it, and all the shit Robin said about Gabe and Garrison, Janelle more or less ignored. Yet Robin calls Isabel stupid. She called Christine a liar. She suggests in her mind that Christine isn't divorced. Imagine the reaction if Janelle or Christine or Mary said the same things that Robin said about her or her kids. What the reaction and the response would be from Cody and Robin. If Janelle or Christine were talking about Robin's kids, oh my God, there would be no end in sight for Cody and Robin bringing it up and rehashing it, and they would probably have that child that was mentioned on camera crying, throwing a fit. We don't see Christine mentioning how Robin called Isabel stupid, or how Robin continually mentions Gabe and Garrison. That kind of stuff isn't mentioned, yet Robin always is talking about the other kids in the family, but we don't see big reactions from Mary, Janelle, and Christine. They just ignore it and let it go. But if the tables were turned and it was Christine or Janelle or Mary mentioning Robin's kids, Robin would be giving a huge reaction over it. As far as snarky comments, I recall Robin once said in an earlier season that Christine is older and she heard it's harder for older women to have babies, when Christine is only like 5 or 6 years older than Robin. Robin just slyly mentions she has heard it's so much harder for older women to have babies as an excuse because Cody and Christine and her kids took an exclusive family trip, and Janelle was saying things like, oh, Christine really deserves this. Mary was saying the same type of stuff. And for Robin to justify the trip, rather than just be happy for Christine, she made the snarky comment that she's heard that it's hard for older women to have babies. When guess what? She was no spring chicken. Christine is like only 6 or 7 years older than her. And look at the way they age. And I hate to bring up looks and superficial stuff and ageism and that kind of stuff. But if we look at Christine, who is 6 or 7 years older than Robin, and we look at Robin, who everyone perceived as the trophy wife, who's the trophy now? Look at the way Janelle aged. Look at the way Mary aged. Look at the way Christine aged. And then look at the way Robin aged. When you're negative on the inside, when you're ugly on the inside, when you're stressed out, when you're resentful and you're mean on the inside and you're cold on the inside and you're disingenuous on the inside, it starts showing on your outside. Robin is disrespectful AF and she's snarky to boot. When she and Cody married, she said she hoped now the jealousy and the negative emotions and the struggles from her sister wives would be done with, as if a marriage would make all of their emotions and all of their emotional struggles with her joining the family just poof and vanish into thin air because she's actually a wife now. She's very insensitive. She's a very manipulative woman who uses her ability to read emotions to manipulate, and that's why people don't like her. Christine is very inclusive of Robin and her kids. In the beginning, Christine tried to go to lunch with Robin. She tried to get to know her. She made her that beautiful cross stitch when Saul was born. She included Robin in every family event and in all of her kids' graduation songs that they do for them. And she also included Robin's daughters in the family and holiday traditions. So this notion that Christine doesn't include Robin is bullshit. I highly doubt Christine pulled rank. She seems like the type who minds her business. She sets boundaries. She doesn't like drama. She enjoys her kids and she lives her life. And if she doesn't like a person, she just sets boundaries with them. Robin is just pissed, in my opinion, because she felt entitled to more than Christine was willing and able to give. But Robin was included. Her kids were included. And it's very interesting that Robin projects her own behavior onto Christine when she acts in the way that she is accusing Christine of acting. Suki now asks Cody about the clip where Cody tells Christine that she did not treat Robin well from the beginning. Cody says that was a focus he was taking for everybody, but Robin was saying that statement, so he pointed that out. Robin pointed that out. Robin was sitting there cap in hand with Christine, and Cody felt, stop doing that. Stop asking her. Stop groveling, because Christine shit-talked the two of them too. So Cody was just in that angry place there. He told Robin, stop groveling because Christine is never going to love her. Cody says he was in a state of anger because Christine hasn't loved Janelle and Mary either, and she made the agreement that she would when she came into the family. See how Cody and Robin are twisting things? That knife in the kidney stuff, where Robin wanted to know where she stood with Christine, that wasn't at all about Christine and the way she treated Janelle and Mary. That was specifically about Robin, and Cody is now reimagining history, and so is Robin, to try and make it seem like it was about everybody. It was about Janelle and Mary too, and the way Christine treats them, because they want to paint Christine as this mean, unhinged person that bullies everyone. They want to villainize her. And if Cody admits that he was just taking up for Robin, then we go into the favoritism stuff that he doesn't want to admit to and own. And it's not because he doesn't know it's true. It's because he's a coward and he doesn't want to take the backlash for it. Cody is now making it seem like he was taking up for Janelle and Mary too. Like this was about all the sister wives when he got angry with the knife in the kidneys bullshit. When Robin asked what she meant to Christine, and Cody told Robin Christine treated her like shit, and he is now saying he was including Janelle and Mary too, and he's rewriting that history even though we've all seen that scene played back 10 million times this season. So we don't accuse Cody of only defending Robin, of only sticking up for Robin, of favoring Robin. Nell and Mary weren't really mentioned when Cody went on that tirade. He just is including them now so he isn't accused of his blatant favoritism of Robin, and he knows he tried to manipulate Christine by leveraging sex so she would modify her behavior with Robin to his liking and to her liking, and he doesn't want that brought up, so he is trying to make it seem like he got that angry in that conversation because he was thinking of Janelle and Mary too. Because once someone calls him out for only defending Robin, then we get into the favoritism thing. Then we'll get into the ways he had to manipulate his other wives to try and suit what Robin wanted out of them, like with Janelle and with Christine. Cody doesn't want any of this bullshit brought up. So he's going to try to make it seem like he got that angry in that conversation, in that moment, because he was thinking of Janelle and Mary too. It's not true. We aren't idiots. We have seen that scene a million times. They replayed it almost every episode this season. He says Christine has treated Robin like dirt as he points to Robin and addresses her. He never mentions Janelle and Mary. That's a new thing. He wants to rewrite history because he wants to blame Christine for why his relationships didn't work out with Janelle and Mary as well. It couldn't be him being a shit husband and father. It's about Christine being evil, causing all of this discord in all of the relationships in the family. That's where Cody wants to go with this. Never blame the obvious common denominator of all of his broken relationships. And that obvious common denominator obviously is Cody Brown himself. He has to keep his fragile ego standing. It's as fragile as his hairs that are barely hanging on, barely there. So it's easiest to blame his version of the devil in the flesh, the woman on the top of his shit list, the woman who must hide her devil horns and her blonde locks in Cody's view. This is gross to do to the mother of his kids, who is the heart of his family, who nurtured all of his kids, who sacrificed so much to be a part of this family. This is disgusting behavior. Cody so easily forgets all the sacrifice Christine made to be the heart of his family and the glue that she was to his family. He has zero loyalty. He has zero respect for these women. And the way he would turn on them and fabricate horseshit to try and cover his own ass says all we need to know about this man's character and the low level of his conscience, not to mention the non-existent loyalty he has for the mothers of his kids. If he loved and respected his kids, he would love and respect their moms, even after they leave him. He's a very weak man. He's very insecure, and his rejection and his emotions and his precious, fragile ego comes ahead of everything to Cody. His anger, his resentment, his optics. That's the high morals and ethics Cody claims he got from his religion in the first few seasons on the show. Christine says she didn't become super close with Janelle until Flagstaff. Suki says Cody shared a story with her that prior to Janelle and Christine really connecting, there were moments when she was bad-mouthing Mary, Janelle, and Robin. Christine got to a place of just not being a very good sister wife, according to Cody. Suki asks Christine if she agreed that she bad-mouthed her sister wives. Christine says Cody was someone she would rag on sometimes, and she would tell Cody, they did this and it frustrated me. It's nothing new, and Cody did the same thing with her. He would complain to Christine about the other wives too, about Mary and Janelle all the time. But Christine says he never ever complained about Robin. He regularly complained to Christine, though, about Mary and Janelle. And Christine figured they were just complaining and venting to each other. They were complaining about each other because isn't that what people do? Christine says Cody was a sounding board, and she didn't think she was being mean like he accuses her of being mean. She isn't a mean person. She doesn't know what Cody means. Christine explains that she puts up boundaries if someone is not safe, but that's not mean, that's not being mean. Suki asks Christine when she realized that Cody no longer found her complaining about the other wives attractive anymore. And Christine didn't know until right now that that is what he is talking about when he refers to her saying she was being mean. She says if her just venting to him about her sister wives is being mean, then she thinks that's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. In a normal relationship, and I don't care if it's monogamy, polygamy, whatever it is that you do, it doesn't matter. When you're in a relationship, when you're in a marriage, it's natural, even if you're not in a marriage, even if you're in a committed relationship, it's natural with your significant other, you're going to vent, oh, the bitch at work, oh, my friend is being selfish, this happened, that happened. Everyone is going to complain. My coworker did this, the neighbor did this. It's normal. You talk. And if you have sister wives, you might, as a wife, vent to your husband with trust and confidentiality. Just vent to blow off steam. Vent for your husband to be a sounding board. Vent. Your husband is supposed to be your best friend and your support system. You're supposed to be allowed to confidentially vent to them. And they're supposed to be allowed to confidentially vent to you. Although, in a plural marriage situation, I will say this. The wife should be able to vent to the husband, but I think it's a little bit of a crossing a line. If you're married and you're the husband and there's one husband and 4 women and you have 4 separate relationships, I don't know how appropriate it is for the husband to really be able to vent to each of his wives about the other wives because there's already a lot of complication in those relationships. So you're expecting your wife to be sister wives and be best friends and have a good relationship with another woman that you regularly complain to about. So I don't think it's healthy for the husband to vent to the wives about another wife, but I can understand how the wives would think it was safe, a safe place to vent a little bit if they're having an issue with a sister wife. A wife should be able to vent to a husband no matter what the situation. And Christine was venting in confidence, and Cody vented to her too. Notice Cody vented with Christine too about Mary and Janelle. And I'm guessing he vented about Christine and Mary with Janelle, and with Mary about Janelle and Christine. And for him, he wasn't being mean. He didn't see it as him being mean when he vented. But if he was venting, he expected support. And if they wanted to vent and have Cody, their husband, be their sounding board in confidence with confidentiality with him as their husband, he sees that as mean. And he's also using it against them later as ammunition now to vilify them. But Cody is the one breaking their confidence, being very petty, making himself look like he is 50 going on 12 in junior high by trying to repeat old grievances from years ago to try and vilify his wives and make them look mean, when he is a hypocrite who does it too. He vents to his wives too. But when he vents to his wives about another wife, he isn't supposedly mean. He doesn't perceive himself as mean. He isn't a bully. He is getting support. And for him, it's totally okay. And he expects it to be confidential. He expects his wives to be supportive. But he doesn't give that back to his wives because anytime he feels like it, he'll just up and out it and use it against them as ammunition, just like he's doing now with Christine. And Christine wasn't mean. It was probably minor little things. And she thought she was talking to her best friend and her companion in life. She didn't expect that he was going to use it against her. Cody loves to create chaos. He loves discord. He wants to create discord. He can't stand that Janelle and Christine are so close, and he feels very threatened by their relationship. And I think in Cody's pea brain, he thinks that if he spills old shit from years ago now, Christine and Janelle will fall out, they'll turn on each other. But they know Cody's game, and they know he is a toddler trapped in an old man's body, and they know he vented to them too. And really, this type of conduct just makes Cody look like he isn't loyal, like he isn't trustworthy, and like he is as petty as a schoolgirl. It's really ridiculous. I've never seen a grown man act more like a child than Cody Brown. Christine told Cody that she didn't know what he meant by him saying she was mean. and they dropped it. They didn't dig into it further because it sounds painful and terrible to really dig into. Suki asks Cody if it's just that it doesn't work anymore for Christine. She asks if it is as simple as that, as it just not working for Christine. If Christine leaving has nothing to do with him at all. It's just that Christine is a different person now, period, and that's why she left. And Cody says absolutely, and he is fine with it. He is fine with it that Christine is not a fit here and she wants to move on. He can accept that, but what Christine is actually doing is saying, he broke my baby's heart. I don't respect him. He's a coward. I don't respect him. He picks favorites. I don't respect him. Name it, she has been shit-talking him, Cody says. Cody says breaking up a marriage when you aren't in love, he gets. But to assuage her guilt, Christine has blamed him for everything, including to her children and Janelle's kids. And as a result, combined with COVID issues, those relationships have been pulled away from him, including, and this is the one he doesn't understand, Janelle. First of all, Suki is asking Cody a question specifically framed for him to put all of the accountability on Christine. And maybe she is trying to just make obvious Cody's complete refusal to take any accountability for his part in his marriage failing. But Suki could easily have tried to push a little harder for Cody to admit that some of it was his fault. And instead, she threw him a softball, knowing he would agree with it and that he would go with it. Cody has a complete lack of accountability, not only in the failure of his marriage to Christine, but he also uses this opportunity to blame Christine for ruining the relationships with her kids and Janelle's kids, and with Janelle and Cody too. Cody is delusional to blame Christine for the bad relationships he has with Janelle's kids and with his kids with Christine. His relationships with all of his kids, especially his older kids, are his responsibility to cultivate and maintain. His kids aren't weaklings who are of feeble mind, who are easily influenced. They have conviction, they are intelligent, they are strong-willed, and they stand up for what they believe in. They seem to say what they feel. Cody wants to blame Christine for everything that is his responsibility alone to avoid his fault in it. He isn't only insulting the intelligence of his kids, but he is showing how threatened he is by Christine. He sees her as a powerful woman who is capable of turning his kids against him, like she has that much influence. I think he is intimidated by Christine and the love and the loyalty the kids feel for Christine. And the kids probably feel closer to Christine than they do to their dad. Christine was the heart of the family and the nurturer, and she was the primary caregiver to most of the kids for years. If Cody wants good relationships with his kids, it's his responsibility. It's in his hands. It's not on Christine. It has nothing to do with Christine. It's on Cody. It's just easy for Cody to pin everything on Christine as the scapegoat, because otherwise he will have to look at himself and his responsibility in it, and it's easier to pin all of his problems and all of his failures and all of his shortcomings on the person at the top of his shit list. And what he doesn't seem to understand is him treating Christine like this, the person his kids adore, it will only cause them to want to distance themselves more from their dad. No kid is going to want to be close with an absent father who disparages and lies on a woman they hold highly as a nurturer and as their mother. Cody is fine with Christine saying this isn't the right fit and moving on. But Cody has a problem with Christine calling out all of Cody's faults and all of his bad behaviors that have led her to struggle to respect him. Cody isn't okay with being held accountable with Christine, or with Christine giving a voice to all of his failures and shortcomings. He has a problem with Christine saying, he broke my baby's heart, I don't respect him. He's a coward, I don't respect him. He picks favorites, I don't respect him. Name it, she has been shit-talking him. But it's not shit-talking to speak the truth and call out what your issues are with a person you are in a relationship with, or you were in a relationship with, in order to hold them accountable. Cody has a problem being called out because he knows it's the truth. And all of this hurts his ego, and it contradicts his perception of himself that he wants everyone to buy, that everyone just sees through. Cody wants to make excuses for the truths Christine speaks about. Christine talks about Cody's shortcomings, so he wants to dismiss it by saying she feels guilt for leaving him, so she is making shit up to shit talk him to ameliorate her guilt. Christine made the best decision of her life when she left Cody. I doubt she feels guilty, and Cody says it's because of Christine and COVID combined that his kids are distanced from him, and he is still making excuses. The reason his kids don't want to have relationships with him is most likely his selfish, egotistical, dictatorial behavior. On top of that, they don't appreciate the way he treats their moms or how he handled COVID. But at the end of the day, they probably have a hard time with their dad's refusal to take direct accountability for his bad behavior and his shortcomings. Cody says breaking up a marriage when you aren't in love, he gets that. But to assuage Christine's guilt, she has blamed him for everything, including to her children and Janelle's kids. And as a result, combined with the COVID issues, those relationships have been pulled away from him, including, and this is the one he doesn't understand, Janelle. Cody is projecting big time. He is suggesting Christine is making all of these claims that Cody hurt her daughter, that Cody picks favorites, that he is a coward, that all of those provable truths are Christine shit talking to make him look bad because she feels guilty. Christine doesn't feel guilty. She knows she made the best decision of her entire life in leaving him. But it's very interesting that Cody is projecting what he does to keep his fragile ego upright. He's projecting onto Christine what he does. He is actually the one who shit talks on everyone who rejects him or who is critical of him to deflect from taking any responsibility or accountability or judgment. So he doesn't have to feel the guilt and the weight and the accountability of his toxic and abusive behavior. He is the one shit talking, blatantly lying about his wives to avoid his own guilt and accountability. He shit talks, he deflects, he finger points, he blames, he projects on everyone but himself. Anything but own his behavior and the consequences of his behavior. He would rather lie on and disrespect the mothers of his kids than to take accountability for his behavior. Everything Cody listed that Christine says as things, as reasons why she can't respect him, those are all the truth. And he did break Isabel's heart. He did it more than once. He is a coward despite his excessive protestations that he's not a coward. He obviously picks favorites. Everything Cody claims Christine says about him is true and provable through Cody's actions and behaviors. The only difference in what Cody does is his shit talking is all fairy tales predicated on bullshit and lies. It's all blatant lies to make himself feel better and look better in his perception, to twist shit and twist his narrative. Also, Janelle leaving Cody has nothing to do with Christine leaving. And Janelle supporting Christine has nothing to do with her leaving either. Janelle left when Cody refused to have her back. He refused to pay off the land. He refused to meet her needs time and time again. He then asked her kids to grovel to Robin. And he also flat out told Janelle she had to be loyal like Robin when she has been very loyal, more loyal than Robin, her whole entire time in the family, acting as the primary breadwinner. Janelle's loyalty shows in her actions. Robin isn't actually loyal. Her actions don't show loyalty. She just allows Cody to think he is in control at her house. And I'm sure she submits to keep the peace, but she is actually the neck that turns the head. And she has a lot of influence over Cody. And she is manipulating Cody. But Cody is too dumb to notice. Janelle asked Cody during that lunch from hell, so I would have to change to make this work? And Cody said, yeah. So not only did he want Janelle to change who she is fundamentally as a person, but he also was suggesting she isn't loyal. He had the audacity to suggest she isn't as loyal as Robin, when if it wasn't for her, the family would probably have been destitute and homeless. There is no way in hell Cody could have supported the whole family without Janelle's financial contributions. After Janelle mostly paid for the McMansion Cody and Robin live in, he had the nerve to suggest she was not loyal. She was not as loyal as Robin was. She needed to change herself to be loyal like Robin, to be subservient like Robin, to be obedient like Robin, to make the marriage work for Cody. Does Cody understand how insulting that would feel for Janelle as she is sitting there filming this? Cody had the nerve to suggest Janelle was not as loyal as Robin. She needed to be loyal like Robin. And what he really meant by loyalty, of course, was he wanted her to be obedient like Robin. Janelle left because after all she did for the family and all the sacrifice, Cody refused to reciprocate. He refused to have her back. He refused to try to meet her needs. He took all he could from Janelle with no reciprocation whatsoever from him. And she got tired. If you have to ask your wife to change so that you will be willing to participate in your marriage, it won't work. It's not a fair request. It's not a reasonable request. When you marry someone, you marry them as they are, with no expectations for them to be different than they are. After 6 kids and decades for Cody, to suggest Janelle had to fundamentally change the core of who she is to be with him is ludicrous. That's probably why Janelle left. She sacrificed a ton for this family. She was the primary breadwinner. She kept the family housed and clothed and fed. Cody couldn't do that by himself, and she realized there was no loyalty, there was no reciprocation from Cody, and it had nothing to do with Christine that she left. But because Christine and Janelle are friends and Cody feels threatened by their relationship, and he wants to take no blame for the failure of his marriage to Janelle, he wants to blame Christine for Janelle leaving him too. Janelle gave Cody more than a chance. She got the RV, she made her needs clear, and Cody would ignore her needs. And we learned when Janelle brought up the land and she brought up needing to pay it off and her needs to build, Cody would get mad at her and he would warn her not to talk about it, not to bring it up, or he would get angry. He uses getting angry as a way to avoid any inconvenience and to avoid being present and invested as a husband and fulfilling his wife's needs. That's why Janelle left. It has nothing to do with Christine. She can't do a marriage alone, and why should she? What does Cody offer her that she can't provide for herself? Cody, in maximum delusional mode, mixed with a need to coddle his fragile ego, is just spewing diarrhea. He says Christine is trying to assuage her guilt by saying he is a bad man, and Cody gets it that Christine needs to do that so that she can find another man who will trust her, because if she leaves a good man, most guys are going to go, this is risky. Cody wants to excuse away Christine's valid points about him by saying that she has to badmouth him because if he is a good man that she left, then no other good man will want to be with her. So she has to villainize Cody in order to be able to find a husband, and most men would find her to be a risk. That is delusional thinking at its best. I found it to be really gross. He is so desperate to make Christine look unstable and not credible and like a bad catch. He wants to signal to men out there that Christine is a problem. And to avoid looking like a problem, he is suggesting that she has to make him the bad guy, to villainize him in order to find a man. That is how sick Cody's mind is. It's sick how Cody connects all of this to Christine finding a man in his pea brain. I'm sure eventually Christine wants a man, but I doubt after the hell he put her through, she even wants a relationship right away immediately. Cody makes it seem as though the only way Christine has value would be if she finds a man. It's really ridiculous, and it seems to be his worst fear. Christine is smart. She has a great personality. She's pretty, she's fun, she's strong, she's independent, and she will find a man who is man enough to love her as she is, who is worthy of her. Because Cody is not that guy, and he never was. He is a coward. That's the perfect word to describe him. And it's disgusting that he is so delusional to suggest that all this bad stuff, she said, is manufactured with intention to make him look bad so she isn't damaged goods so she can find a guy. That is fucking ridiculous. As if that's her sole purpose in life. It was so disgusting and so disrespectful. And it really shows how toxically misogynistic, how unstable, and how delusional Cody seems to be, in my opinion. He is oddly preoccupied with Christine finding a man. If we recall, in the first episode of the season, he says he feared Christine meeting a man who will help her to go after him and take his coins. Whatever man Christine will be with will be a man, a real man. Cody feels very threatened by real men, and he's going to feel very threatened by Christine's new man, whoever he is. And that guy is a very lucky guy. And Cody is very insecure about Christine moving on, and he's going to be very insecure about this guy, because this is not going to be a guy like Cody who acts like a toddler throwing tantrums with a 5-year-old mentality. This is going to be a real man that she ends up with. Cody's insecurity is going to bleed everywhere when he meets this guy, and I freaking hope it's on Sister Wives. He is going to behave like a scorned woman when he meets this guy, and he is so petty, so I can only imagine the toddler tantrums he will throw when Christine finds her prince. And I hope her prince reminds Cody how abusive and disrespectful and condescending he was when he was shouting to Christine during the knife in the kidneys conversation. No decent, self-respecting man talks to a woman like that, let alone mother of his kids. Cody has a serious problem with his behavior and controlling his emotions, I feel. Most grown men by his age are mature enough to know how to behave and how to communicate and how to convey their emotions in a mature, controlled way. But Cody is very unskilled with that. Maybe Christine's future husband can school him and give him some pointers, because he really needs it. Suki talks to Janelle next about Christine's goodbye from hell that Mykelti organized. She asks Janelle how she felt. And Janelle mentions, like, the way everyone was standing on different sides of the patio. She says it felt like here is the division. Here is the divide. It looked that way and it felt that way. And there was definitely a side. There were sides being taken. They flash back to the goodbye from hell with Cody creeping in the window and the whole thing. And Cody says, bless Mykelti's heart. She wants to affirm that the family is still family. And Cody's at this weird place where he is thinking he doesn't ever want to see Christine ever again. Now let's look at that statement in the flashback. Cody was thinking he doesn't ever want to see Christine ever again. Cody has 6 kids with Christine. He shared decades with her. You would think he would be mature enough to say at 50 plus, this hurts right now, but I hope one day we are on good terms. I hope we're on civil terms so we can co-parent together. This is the mother of his kids. He will always be connected to this woman through his kids. It's very immature for him to say he never wants to see her again, especially when he admits he married her for her status in the church. Cody is a man baby. It's no surprise that his family finds it so hard to respect him. In the flashback scene, Mykelti says, this is one of the hardest things the family has to go through, but it's awesome that they can all be there to show that at the end of this, they are still a family. Christine says it's apparent how awkward they all are. Janelle and her kids are on one side, and Robin and Cody are on the other, and none of them want to be there. Cody awkwardly hugs Truly as she mouths help. Christine breaks down in tears as Janelle hugs her. Christine thinks this was the worst goodbye she has ever witnessed. Janelle says Mykelti saw that they needed that goodbye. No matter how awkward it was, Janelle is glad that she did it. Janelle says she isn't a huggy person, but Christine really needed a hug, and she went and she hugged Christine. Janelle tells Suki the emotions are hard, it comes through. Suki says it seems like Cody and Robin were kind of just standing there, and Janelle says it was super awkward and antagonistic. It was really separate, and it felt like there was this line. And Cody was completely over there by Robin, and he realized how that looked, and he tried to make an effort to step more into the middle. They all did the best they could. Even though Robin says she and her kids weren't angry, notice how Janelle says it was antagonistic, and Christine noted that Robin's kids seemed angry, and that was the hardest part. And Janelle points out because Cody realized the optics were bad, he then moved to the middle. It wasn't because he wanted to, it was because he realized how it looked. Everything for Cody is about how things look for him. It was interesting that Janelle pointed out Cody realizing the optics and moving a bit. It wasn't about the family, it was about how he would look and how he would be perceived in that scene, it seems. And Janelle noticed that too. Next, Suki talks about the goodbye with Robin. She tells Robin that the aerial view of the goodbye is just so telling. And Robin says it was because of COVID still, because it wouldn't have been that way if not for COVID. Robin says she would have hugged Christine if not for COVID. She says it's hard because she is standing there with the knowledge that Christine doesn't want a relationship with her or with her kids, and she doesn't know why she is even saying goodbye if Christine doesn't want it. But Robin wanted to show up so that Christine could see that at least even with all of the rejection and her leaving and everything else, that no matter what, she was still there, she will still show up and say goodbye, even though it's really, really hard. Suki says they discussed the family divide, but goodbye is goodbye. Janelle says it's the end of an era, it's everything. Christine has been such a big center of her world and her children's worlds. And Suki says it seems like Janelle and Christine are closer now than they ever were as sister wives. Suki asks what Janelle thinks about Cody being upset because he says this is what he wanted this whole time. Janelle says they did a lot of that work on their relationship before Christine left. She says either Cody was oblivious to it and not paying attention, which is possible, or he is conveniently seeing it one way. Janelle has made it clear more than once that Cody is only really fully engaged and paying attention with Robin. And she points out Cody has a myopic view. He sees things one way. He only sees things from his perspective or Robin's. He doesn't have the ability to put himself in anyone else's shoes to understand their perspective. It's all about Cody and his view of things. Next, Suki asks Janelle what kind of guy Christine would be interested in since she knows Christine better than anyone. Janelle thinks Christine wants someone who cherishes her. And Suki asks what Christine's type is, and Janelle says Christine has this fantasy character like it's a statue she has, and he is some character from a video game that they made into a movie. Christine says the character is Duratan, it's an org, and she's attracted to him. He is a warrior, but the first time you meet him, he is looking at his wife with so much love. He would do anything for her, and Christine just wants that kind of love. Suki wants to know what Christine's type is, who her celebrity crush is. Suki wants to know. She wants all the details. And Christine has a great answer. And this guy, this man is fine AF. Definitely. She says Shamar Moore. And I have to agree with Christine. When I was in like junior high or high school, this guy, I think he was on like a soap opera. I used to have a huge crush on him when I was in like junior high school. He is gorgeous. Anyway, Christine says Shamar Moore is beautiful. He is very attractive. I think Christine has great taste. Christine says she just wants someone who treats women well. Suki asks Robin if she thinks she and Christine could ever get to a happy place. And Robin says it's dependent on Christine. Robin is willing and ready, but the relationship would have to be established on real stuff and real trust and the real desire. Robin wants something real, and she wants real relationships with all of these ladies. She always has. And for emphasis to convince us, she repeats, she always has. Yes, that's why Robin shit talks to Cody about Christine, because she wants it to be about trust. And that's why she has Cody repeat these stories of rejection to Janelle to try and turn Janelle against Christine so that Janelle will gravitate to her because she wants a real relationship with Janelle and a real relationship with Christine, not a relationship based on manipulation. And she wants a real relationship with Christine too, based on real trust, because you can totally trust the whack job who talks shit about you, bullying you, spreading lies to your best friend in a futile junior high effort to try and turn your best friend against you. Everyone wants to be friends with a master manipulator. That's everyone's dream for their best friend. Everyone wants to befriend and be besties with a master manipulator who thinks she can leverage her way into close relationships that are forced. Robin wants it to be real, guys, based on real trust. That's why she bitched to Cody about Christine. And Cody heard so much bitching that he felt it was acceptable to stop intimacy with Christine unless she was closer to Robin and a better sister wife. Robin feels entitled to relationships. She wants it to be based on trust, guys. She is real. Do we trust the nut who calls Christine a liar in her own home twice, who attempts to invalidate Christine's experiences with Cody, who tries to invalidate that Christine is actually divorced, and who disrespects her in her own home? Not only was Robin talking shit to Cody about all the mean things Robin delusionally perceives that Christine did to her, but Cody repeated it to Janelle in an attempt to turn her against Christine like it's some junior high popularity contest. Do Robin and Cody think Janelle and Christine are dumb and that Janelle won't tell Christine what she is hearing? Robin wants it to be about trust, but she lies, she twists, she spins and manipulates. But she wants it to be real, guys. She wants the friendship to be real. Guys, she wants you to trust her as she shoves the knife in your back. It astounds me how stupid Cody and Robin are and how dumb they assume Janelle and Christine are, and also how dumb they think the viewers are. Robin says before she even fell in love with Cody, she fell in love with the kids and the family culture of one big happy family. It's something she is mourning all the time. As she scrunches up her face to try and milk out non-existent tears, she says, "They took it away. They took it away from her." She excuses herself for crying with zero tears, and Suki asks Robin if it feels unfair. And Robin says, yeah, it does. It feels really unfair and really. And here she apologizes and she says she is sorry. She gets so embarrassed when she gets emotional. She feels angry. She's angry at them all. She is really angry about it. And she is angry about it, about what they have done to their family. And she would have never chose this. She says if she had the power that everybody thinks she has, this would not be happening. She feels cheated. She feels absolutely cheated. So the first thing I want to point out is Robin says, before she even fell in love with Cody, she fell in love with the kids, the family, and the family culture of one big happy family. In Becoming Sister Wives, Robin writes, some of my sister wives were more interested in the sisterhood than in the husband. But perhaps since I'd been married before, I knew that I needed a man whom I loved, trusted, cherished, and adored. I also knew that asking for and receiving all these things is hard. So Robin was more interested in the man than the sister wife. She was more interested in the man than the family. She was more interested in a romantic love than in prioritizing the family. This fake crying thing and getting emotional and scrunching up her face doesn't work for Robin. It feels very inauthentic. And if she is genuinely that emotional all of the time, I feel it's possible something is going on with her. It's not normal for a woman that's her age to not be able to handle her emotions at all to the point where everything gets her so close to tears. It's not endearing, it's alarming. It's interesting to me that rather than feeling sadness, she feels angry, and that anger just shows her true character. Robin is angry. She is livid at these women because what she pictured in her mind, this ideal, big, happy family, that is what she pictured, what she envisioned. It's never happening. But guess what? It never was in the first place, and it will never be. That's a fairy tale she imagined in her mind. And the fact that she is angry that the fairy tale isn't a reality when it never was shows her level of delusion. No one did anything to her for her to be angry at all. The fact that she says she is angry rather than sad says a ton about her character and about how selfish she is. They did this to me. They ripped it from me. It's unfair. They took my dream from me. This is ridiculous. It's very selfish. It's a very one-sided perspective, as if they have done things to her and she is the victim of them doing her wrong just because they want to have a better life and they want to leave the family, they want to leave Cody, and they want to find people who can actually give them what they want and need in relationships and what they deserve in relationships. No one has done anything to her. No one has took anything from her. The perfect, big, happy family that she is imagining was taken from her, never existed in the way that she imagined it so ideally in her mind. She's delusional. No one did anything to Robin. If she is mad that the family didn't work out the way that she pictured it and the marriages didn't work out and the kids don't all get along with their dad, what is the common denominator in all of it? It's not the wives who left to try and find relationships where they can actually have what they deserve and get their needs met. The common denominator is Cody. And maybe Robin should be mad at herself and at Cody rather than her being angry and resentful of the ex-wives. No one cheated Robin out of anything. She, in her mind, painted an ideal picture of the family. She assumed it was that way. And when it wasn't that way, she wanted to see it that way. And when it wasn't that, rather than blaming herself for having expectations and idealizing the family, she is angry at them for not living up to the fairy tale she dreamed up that never was, that she expects somehow. It's weird as fuck. Suki asks Robin if she feels scapegoated by the sister wives, and Robin says, yeah, all the time. She jokingly refers to herself as Cody's whipping boy. When he does something the ex-wives don't like, she gets blamed. Suki is helping Robin and Cody with the stupid questions that she throws them that allow them to easily go with playing the victim and spinning their bullshit narrative with these bullshit questions. We already know Robin thinks she is the Brown family scapegoat because her mom tells her that to help enable her delusions. And Suki then gives Robin softball questions that she will eat up, knowing exactly how Robin will answer. Robin is very influential over Cody, and she allows Cody to believe he wears the pants. And I said this before, like a broken record. She is the neck turning the head. She isn't the victim. She enables Cody to behave the way he does. She keeps Cody in a resentful state, so he is always revved up. He was always revved up with the negativity and the resentment when he saw his other wives and kids. He's revved up with her narrative of them bullying her and rejecting her and the us versus them mentality that she spins. She spins this narrative and her behavior enables Cody. And ultimately, Cody is responsible for his behavior. But Robin's manipulations and her bullshit doesn't help the situation with any of his family. It just empowers Cody to be more dickish and abusive. Robin isn't the Brown family scapegoat. She never was. She isn't the whipping boy. She is a master manipulator. He even manipulates Cody without him even realizing it. And no one buys her bullshit. It stinks to the high heavens. Suki asks why that is. Why Robin is the whipping boy. Why Robin is the scapegoat. And Robin fake cries. She excuses herself and she says, maybe she's just an easy target because she has a tendency to just take it and, just not get jerky about it. She doesn't fight. It's not her nature to fight. She has to really, really get tough within herself to fight. She is more heart. She is absolutely more heart. Robin is delusional. No one's buying it, in my opinion. She totally perceives herself as the victim. The Snow White innocent doe, the little meek lamb, who is non-confrontational, who is bullied relentlessly, and she is sweet and kind, and everyone just shits on her. But look at her behavior, look at her actions, look at her track record, and look at her words. And look at how many people dislike her and how many people are weary to befriend her or to be close to her, and how many viewers just plain don't like her. It's because everyone and their mother can see through the bullshit. We can smell the horse manure coming through the TV screen. Robin attempts to portray herself as the innocent victim. She hates to fight, but she had no problem engaging with Christine, calling her a liar, twisting her words, being disrespectful, being aggressive and invalidating Christine in her own home. Is that a woman who is absolutely more heart? As a divorced woman who has been through supposedly, allegedly an abusive marriage, an abusive relationship, she is looking at another woman going through a toxic relationship and looking her in the eye and invalidating her whole experience. And then she's sitting there saying, she will just take it. Everyone just lays it on. And they do this to her because she will just take it. And she's absolutely more hard. And she just doesn't like to fight. People who regularly use absolutely to drive the point home always signal a red flag in me that makes me doubt them. Adding absolutely or really or I swear or I promise you guys, all of that is emphasis and driving home, trying to convince herself, trying to convince viewers. Her actions show that Robin isn't more hard. She is all manipulation. If she was all heart, how can she blame a woman in an abusive marriage for decades for not trying as hard as she did in her first marriage that she claims was abusive? That isn't how a person who is absolutely more heart would act. What about when she called Isabel stupid, a minor child at the time, for attending in-person class? Is calling a kid stupid more heart? Absolutely. She doesn't like fighting. She doesn't like confrontation, but she doesn't mind disrespecting Christine in her own house. She doesn't mind saying Christine was flipping out at her house. Supposedly she is all heart. She hates to fight. She hates to talk bad about people, but everything coming out of her mouth is a lie. It's interesting that she seems to be suggesting she has more heart and the other wives don't have as much heart as she does. She is the loving one. That's how she perceives herself, and that's how she wants to be seen. And I've noticed Suki really kind of cushioning Cody and Robin and their narrative and their egos. I'm hoping next episode she actually asks the questions we all want answers to, and that Suki doesn't allow Cody and Robin to continue with their bullshit narrative. When Cody told Suki he was getting angry and he growled and he told her they could discuss it later, when Suki wanted Cody to talk about Robin and his relationship, Cody led the interview. Cody directed Suki. He dictated to Suki, we're going to talk about this later. I'm getting angry. And all Suki said was, okay. And Suki just asked Robin if she is the scapegoat. It seems like Suki is really trying to give Cody and Robin a huge opportunity to play victim without holding their feet to the fire. I like Suki as a person, but her interview skills are really lacking. They need someone with balls who will go in, who's blunt and direct, who will ask tough questions, who will insist that they answer. Instead, Suki seems to be really coddling the biggest egos. She almost seems intimidated. Robin doesn't just sit and take it, by the way. It's very interesting that that's how she perceives herself. Does she remember calling Christine a liar twice in her home? Is that just sitting and taking it? She's dishing it out, but maybe she can't take it. And she's telling her she had a hard time believing that Christine was communicating with Cody because according to her, she and Cody, Christine and Cody never communicate. When Christine is saying, well, we have been communicating this past year, and she's sitting there invalidating Christine in her own home when it's Christine and Cody's marriage and it's not hers. I guess that was Robin's really big heart. She's absolutely more heart. It must have been Robin's big heart that allowed her to disrespect Christine in her own home. Suki tells Cody that Robin respects him. She talks about how she respects their marriage and their covenant that they have with each other. Suki asks Cody what their relationship is and how Cody would describe his relationship with Robin. Cody pauses, he sighs heavily, he looks at his watch cynically like a dick, and Suki asks, do I have time? And Cody says no, he isn't going to talk about her. He doesn't want to talk about Robin. Suki asks Cody if they can play the clip and if Cody can react to it. And Cody says, sure, maybe, and he acts annoyed like he's a fucking toddler and he's really being put out. He is paid to be there and to watch clips and to answer questions, and he is acting like a man baby to the point where Suki has to ask him like a child, will you be willing to sit and watch this and respond? As if she was coaxing a child to do his homework. This is a job. Cody is a grown adult. Cody is paid to be there and respond. He seems to think he's big time, like Princess Di level. He gets to call the shots. He looks like a child sitting there acting that way when he looks at his watch and he says, yeah, maybe, pissily. I laughed at that. I laughed at him so hard. To take Cody seriously, it's so hard to take him seriously as a person. He is 50 plus, going on 5 with his behavior and the way he conducts himself. It is so weird. He behaves very childlike, very immature. It's hard to even view him as an adult with the way that he behaves. Next time on Sister Wives, one-on-one part 3, Suki asks Cody, is Robin the favorite wife? And Cody says, that's the most unfair question because Suki doesn't have any idea. Whenever Cody wants to avoid something, he gets angry and aggressive and he refuses to participate when he is paid to be there and he's paid to answer questions. And Suki never pushes back. She lets him manipulate the whole interview with zero backbone, as if she is intimidated by him or she is afraid if she is real with him and she pushes too hard, he will walk off. She isn't getting anything of value out of him anyways, other than lies and a bullshit narrative. I would ask him the hard questions and let him walk off and show his true character rather than appease an idiot. Christine says it's obvious where Cody wants to spend his time. Then she laughs and says, come on. And Robin says, they handed him to me and said, we don't want to spend time with him, basically. Here, you have him all the time. No, that is not true. What Robin is going to do, in my opinion, is probably say, because the wives refused to follow Cody's COVID protocols and she was willing to do so, she got Cody 24/7 and they made the choice not to do what Cody dictated, so she got him, and they made that choice by being unwilling to follow Cody's protocols. I think that's where Robin is going with this whole notion of the wives handed Cody to her. The wives wanted Cody around, especially for the sake of their kids. Cody refused to be there unless they bent the knee for his protocols and for his patriarchy bullshit when he isn't even a viable patriarch who could actually be capable to responsibly lead the family. He can't even do his job like an adult and answer Suki's questions without attempting to use his anger or frustration to get out of it. He doesn't act like an adult. So why would anyone think he was capable to lead? If Robin wants to say the wives handed Cody to her to assuage her guilt for being the favorite wife and getting all of Cody's time, investment, money, and attention, she can say those words, but no one will ever believe it. We watched these other wives suffer for years on emotional roller coasters, and we saw Cody's kids suffer because of Cody's favoritism and his lack of equal time and investment in all of the households. So it's very disrespectful and invalidating of all that the other wives and kids experienced for Robin to suggest that Cody was handed to her, and it shows how little Robin respects and values the family. Robin says they each have something with Cody that she does not have. Mary says who Cody is right now is not the same man. It's not who she met and married. Janelle says Cody does this intense thing and he yells at her and he says, you are culpable, you are responsible. And Janelle says, hey dude, this is like a multi-piece thing here. Janelle isn't going to allow Cody to blame her and deflect. She knows that there are 5 people involved. 5 people, 5 adults contributed to this situation. And Cody wants to deflect and he wants to take zero accountability. And I don't think Janelle is going to let that fly. And he's definitely not going to get away with pinning anything on her or blaming her for any of this. She is not going to allow that. Suki asks Cody why he couldn't look at Janelle and be vulnerable. And Cody asks, vulnerable, angrily? He says Christine just left and Janelle is chasing her. Obviously, we know that Janelle didn't leave the family or leave Cody because she's chasing Christine or because Christine influenced her. She left because her marriage was broken, irretrievably broken. Suki asks Cody if he feels like Janelle has disrespected him in any way. And Cody says, absolutely, yes. Cody says, respect and love are equivalent to him, and he would rather be respected than loved. Let's go over that again. Cody says, respect and love are equivalent to him, and he would rather be respected than loved. You see that for Cody, feeling like he is respected, aka obeyed, in Cody's world, that he is given the ultimate authority by his wives, that they submit, that is more important to Cody than love, because Cody doesn't seem to have the capacity for unconditional love. To Cody's mind and heart, respect and submission to him, that's love. That's how he feels love. The emotion of love is meaningless to him. What Cody perceives as being loved is people obeying him unquestioningly. Respect is really obedience for Cody. And Cody perceives obedience and respect, his version of respect, which is really obedience to most people, as love. And that's something that I have always said. Janelle, speaking on her separation from Cody, says she doesn't know. Things just became indifferent and she just didn't care anymore about Cody. Christine says she knows Janelle is frustrated and she is so hurt, and she realizes that the man she was married to is totally different and she is different too. Janelle thinks that if she and Cody both sat down, they would look at each other and say, really, they have been separated for several months now. Cody says it's pretty stupid for people who loved each other. That does it for this episode of Sister Wives. I'll be back next week for part 3 of the one-on-one special. To my YouTube viewers, please like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments section if you like. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week. Bye.